Today I'm going to show you all what we planted in June, and I'm just getting started today. I have tons of seeds. This is just the tip of the iceberg for what we're planting. There's a lot of stuff that you guys can plant in June. I don't think a lot of people realize it, but this is the time to start planning out your fall garden. You also are going to want to be planting some stuff for your fall garden. So today I'm going to show you guys what we planted. I'm also going to talk about some other things probably that you can plant in our zone, which is zone 8B. So let's just get right into it. So first, I just want to talk about the status of our garden right now and why I'm choosing to plant some things that I'm planting today. So like today, I'm going to be planting more watermelon and more cantaloupe according to the schedule I've been using for this year, which is different than the ones I've been using for the rest of the years. I used to always use Farmer's Almanac, but when I looked at the spring planting calendar for 2024, something didn't seem right. It seemed off. And after talking to some other gardeners, they agreed. So I went with a different one this year. I'll leave a link to it down below. And so far, it's been great. I haven't lost plants due to the weather. So that's been perfect. But pretty much, I've printed out the fall one for 2024 because it's time to start fall planting. We're out of spring now. We're done spring planting. We're done planting for summer harvests. Okay, all the stuff that we're planting now is for fall harvests. So watermelon and cantaloupe, yes, we do have some. We haven't gotten anything off of it yet, but it is flowering. So that's good news. Last year we didn't get any, not a single one. We planted so many. And some of them came up and it was just terrible. We really like watermelons and cantaloupe in our house. I really, really want some this year. So I'm going to just keep planting these as much as I can. And I believe this is the last month that we can plant them in our zone by seed, and I'm not going to probably do starts. So these the cantaloupe says 90 days to maturity, and then this watermelon specifically is 75 to 90 days. So pretty much now you want to be looking at the days to maturity on the back of your seed packets because this stuff has to be harvestable before your first frost hits. Obviously, there are some stuff that you can plant over your frost, but we're not planting that today. Next month, we'll start planting things that can handle light frost. So we did not plant anything in June. More or less, we just didn't really get around to it. The garden was sort of neglected a little bit in June, but we're done doing that. We have already started massive weeding, and now we're going to get right back into planting. So this is some of the stuff I'm planting, like I just talked about. I also have other varieties of watermelon, different red ones, and we have those orange ones. What else are we doing? So on the chart, it says you can plant winter squash. We know there's a difference between winter and summer squash. So I would like to plant more squash, definitely. Again, these are one of those plants where we have these, and they came up and they're flowering, but we haven't gotten anything off of them yet. But we are planting for fall harvest. So I'm not counting on those to make it the rest of the year, so I'm going to plant more. So they also said pumpkin small varieties. I don't know if we're going to do any of these yet, because this is technically a small variety, I think. And this is 85 to 100 days to maturity. So I had a thought, like, why can't we plant summer squash? Like, more zucchini, which is something I'd like to plant more of. And this is only 50 days to maturity. So I'm going to take an educated guess and say we can still plant summer squashes too. So I'm definitely going to be planting some zucchini. And I'll look at the days of maturity for summer squashes and anything else I want to plant. I also like to plant some more gray zucchini. This is a new variety that we tried this year. Haven't gotten anything off of it yet. Hoping to get something soon, but we like zucchini in our house. So, I mean, we don't like to eat it. Kids don't like to eat it straight, but there are ways that we can make it that they love it. I'm going through my bag of seeds. I organized them all last night by what family they were a part of, so I'd be able to find them. I'd like to plant more spaghetti squash. I'll look and see if I can do that. I think there's table queen, like acorn. Yeah, here it is. Table queen acorn squash. Now that's, I believe, is a winter squash, so I think we can do that. The squash, the golden crookneck squash, I'll look up the maturity date for that. It's not on the seed packet. So, and other than that, this is all the same stuff. So pretty much I'm just going through, I'm getting out what I want to plant, putting back in the stuff that I don't. I'm undecided on the pumpkins yet. So another thing I'm undecided on is cucumbers, only because it says that they're out of planting in June, but I'm saying 65 days until maturity on these, whereas we can still plant stuff that has 100 days and can't handle a frost. So again, I think I'm going to take an educated guess on this one and see if we can go ahead and plant cucumbers too. Another variety of watermelon. This is another red one. Those orange ones, I'm definitely planting more of these. So I think that's it as far as melons and cucumbers. I put cucumbers in the melons bag. So we have the cantaloupe, we have watermelon sugar baby, watermelon jubilee, and orange glow watermelons. And we're going to plant some more slicing cucumbers because I think you can still plant them now here. So we did squash, we did melons. A couple other things so we're going to plant is okra. This can still be planted now. I like Clemson's Finalist. Okra is so easy to grow. It's just like here, it loves the heat. Why not, right? So we have a few plants, but it's just so easy to grow. I feel like we should just plant some more. So pretty much I plant wherever there's an open patch of soil. And here we have an open patch of soil. So right here, there are sweet potatoes in this bed. There's some Swiss chard way over there. And there's a marigold here. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and plant some melons here. I think I'm going to go ahead and do 2 different kinds of melons here. I think I'm going to do my 2 reds here. So I'm going to go ahead and just plant some in here. And we'll see what happens with it. Alright, again, we have an open spot. Now, I did only plant Sugar Baby over there because there was only room really for like 3 plants. So, I'm going to plant Jubilee in this bed. And we have some more sweet potatoes. We have a lot of sweet potatoes, guys. Those potatoes put on so many slips. It's nuts. We have another marigold here. And then over there we have like a tomato. So, let's go ahead and plant these. Alright, so we got Jubilees pretty much all around this marigold. It's about 4 plants. That is 7 more red watermelon plants. Now I'm going to go find a place to put the orange glows. You may hear the hose behind me. Joshua started watering the garden beds. But right here, we're going to plant orange glows. So we've got a pretty big space here. I can probably get 2 or 3 plants in here. So we have this massive zinnia in here, Swiss chard, and more sweet potatoes. There's a couple marigolds up there. All right, we have lots of space in here. It's not perfectly weeded, but this bed is not perfectly weeded, this whole bed. So I'll keep working on getting this weeded, but for now, we're going to plant. So in here, I'm going to start with the zucchini, and this is a Black Beauty variety. It's a variety we grow every year. Absolutely love it. Highly recommend. All right, y'all, so I just want to talk about starting some inside plants. While we don't necessarily need to start inside plants right now, I wanted to anyway because our seed starting system in the spring was not that great. We thought that we could put the seed trays near a window here and that would be enough light, and it was not enough light. So we had some leggy seedlings. So fall planting's coming up soon, and to get the best harvest that we can, we need to start some of those seeds inside. So I wanted to test out this kit, but before I unbox it, I want to thank Growfriend for sponsoring this video. So this is a seed starting kit. And apparently it has everything that you need to get started. So let's take a look here. Now, some of these can not be durable, some of them may not last. So I just want to look at how durable these are. So it comes with the bottom, which is nice because we had a bunch of trays that did not have a bottom, and we wound up buying a bunch of like boot trays to put them in. But this has a bottom, which is great. I believe this is your heating mat. So it's important to have a heat mat and a grow light when starting seeds, especially when you're starting them in the cool spring. Yes, this is the heat mat. All right, so we're going to just set this aside for a minute because I'm not quite ready to set this up yet. I want to get the seed tray filled and everything before setting this up. But this is the heat mat, and these are your lights. Again, I'm going to wait to set this up. And it comes with instructions telling you how to set everything up. Looks pretty straightforward. It also comes with a bunch of other stuff. So we have, let's see. Oh, we have sticky insect traps. We all know how bad the insects can get around your seed starting area. So this should eliminate that problem. And then we also have a 3-in-1 soil meter. Another great tool to have on hand. A couple of little tools here to help you get your stuff planted. I believe these are for setting up the grow lights. And then we also have a lot of plant tags. That's really nice. And then the last thing is this humidity dome, which is also really important to have. You need to have good humidity when starting seeds. And then this is also where your grow lights go in. So let's get this set up. I'm going to start by filling up this tray with some soil. Now we use our homemade soil mix for this. But you can use any good quality bag soil that's meant for seed starting. Before I fill these up with soil, I just want to say that my initial impression of these is that they're extremely durable. Like, these are not very flexible at all. It's very durable plastic. So that's the bottom, and then this same thing. That it's super durable, like barely moves. Even with the humidity dome, which is usually like your weaker part, even that is like, seems extremely durable. As a side note here, to tell when your soil is moist enough to fill a bed or a seed starting tray, you're pretty much just going to take it and squeeze it. And if it stays together, that's what you want. You don't want too wet, too dry. So this is perfect because you also want to leave a little bit room because you're going to have to water those seeds in. So you can see I squeeze it and it stays together. It's a little bit crummy, but that's just exactly what we're going for right there. Now, I'm probably not going to plant in this entire thing because, like I said, I want to save room for some fall crops that are going to be going in here really, really soon. So there's only one thing I want to start in here, and that's something that we tried to start in spring, but we only tried to start a few because we've never had them before. And I just wanted to try it out, but they didn't quite make it. So they didn't quite make it when we were trying to hard them off. That's when they died. So we're going to plant some eggplant. And this is the Black Beauty variety. And so this tray it's 40 cells. So I think we're going to let's do 10 cells. We'll fill 10 cells with this eggplant, and then we'll save the rest for when we're ready to start doing some fall planting. So hopefully I'm doing this right, but we're going to just poke our little hole here. And then we're going to put a couple, like 2 or 3 seeds in each. All right, so after watering those in, I'm going to now tag them. And when I was laying these tags, guys, these are extremely thick. Like, these are some of the thickest plastic tags I have ever seen. I mean, look at this. So I just mark the rows usually, and I will always plant the same thing in a row. So, like, let's say I wanted to plant 3 eggplants, I would have just planted the whole row just to keep things simple. And then I also like to mark the date on them, the date that they're being planted. Again, just so that I know, keep things simple. So now that that's done, we're going to go ahead, now that our plants are done, it's time to go ahead and set up the grow light. A couple things though before we do set up the lights and the mat. I'm going to go ahead and just take this out. It's been draining for a couple minutes now. It is still draining a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and empty out this tray. And then one other thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and test the soil because it comes with this little 3-way soil tester. So pretty much you can test the wetness of the soil, the light, and the pH. I'm going to go ahead. So it says to rub the prongs with downward motion with either steel wool or light sandpaper before your first use. And then I'm just going to switch it to moist, just because that seems to be the easiest one to do. So it says to insert the probe into the soil about 4 inches deep. And then it says wait about 1 minute for the reading to stabilize. So you can see I've zoomed in a little bit for you there. It's been about a minute. It's on the low end, so I may need to water these in a little bit more. I'm going to wait for a little bit though, because I don't think that the water has actually gotten to the bottom, at least enough water has gotten to the bottom of the tray yet. So I'm going to wait a little bit. I'll test it again later. But honestly, guys, I might be using this for the outside garden because this is really cool. You can test your own pH. You don't need to go take it somewhere to get it tested. And you can test how wet it is. So that's just great. Next thing we're going to do is put on our humidity dome. And then it actually clips on like that. There we go. So that's not going anywhere. And then I actually found out that these were to control the humidity. So most of the time I would just wrap our trays in plastic wrap or cover them with a plastic wrap like thing over the top, little plastic wrap tent. And you're not really able to control the humidity that way. And a lot of times they could get moldy. But with this, you can control the humidity. So I'm just going to push these in. I may needed to put these on before I put the tray on. I think I did. Let's see. It's going to... There we go. Let's do the other one. These are not easy to get in, which is probably a good thing. There we go. All right. So now you can turn these to allow more or less humidity in. That's really nice. All right. So for right now, I'm going to just leave those open. And then we're going to set up the grow light, I believe, next. So here's the lights. And these can be actually set on a timer, I believe. So I'm actually going to turn this tray around because my cord is over here. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to push this down into the tray. And then the cord fits right through here. Here's your other one. Just like that. And then here's your control here. So it says if you click once, both lights on, click twice, one light on, and then if you click 3 times, the other light on. So you can choose which lights are on and off, or if both lights are on and off. And then if you press this, you can adjust it from anywhere from 20 to 100% brightness. And then the timing is you can have red on for 3 hours, blue on for 6 hours, or red and blue for 12 hours, I believe is what it says. All right, let's try these lights. Wow, look at that. They are super bright. So you can control which light's on, or if both lights are on or both are off. You can control the brightness. And then the timer. Oh, I see what the light means now. Okay. So when I was showing you red 3 hours, blue 6 hours, red and blue 12. So if you look at the light, 3 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours. No timer. So you can manually adjust the time here, or you can set a timer, set it, and pretty much forget about it. All right, so it says that this mat, the heat mat, will keep your seedlings around 10 to 20 degrees above the room temperature. Now, I don't know if we're going to need this right now. I'm going to set it up anyway. So it says it'll take about 3 minutes to warm up. It is waterproof. And then you're just going to set your seed tray on top of that. And that should keep your soil nice and warm. So you guys can sprout those seedlings quickly, even in cool weather. All right, so the last thing we need to do is set up these sticky insect traps. I'm just going to set up one for right now. They come with 7 of these little stakes, and then each stake holds 2 papers. So it comes with 14 papers. So I'm just going to set up one for now. But pretty much how these work is you can take your sticky paper. Okay, so we're going to peel away this white paper, and that reveals the sticky part. And then we're going to fold it in half, sort of connect the ends here. And then insert into this little holder. That's really easy. So pretty much you can put 2 on here. I'm going to go ahead and grab another one and do the same thing. And then we're going to put it inside of here, which is great because that actually keeps the gnats and stuff off of your seedlings inside the tray. So I'm just going to put it over here away from the eggplants because it doesn't need to be right up on it. That's really nice. It'll keep those bugs out. I don't have to worry about that at all. They should just get stuck to it if there becomes a problem in there. And that's pretty much how you set that up, as well as start some seedlings. So we started just some eggplant in there. And then next month, I will definitely be starting more in here. And honestly, guys, if this works out for fall planting, I may be getting some more of these in spring because this is a really, really nice setup. It comes with the lights that you can set on timers. It comes with a heat mat. So you don't need to worry about your cool weather stopping you from starting seeds inside. Or you don't even need to worry about your house temperature, really, because this heats it up 10 to 20 degrees warmer. And so even you may be able to even start seeds in a garage with this. So I'm going to see how this works. I can't wait to show you guys what happens with this eggplant. And I'm just really impressed with the overall quality of all this stuff. It seems really high quality, and you can get it all for a really reasonable price. And you can get it for an even more reasonable price with our 10% off discount code that is in the description below. Oh, and don't forget that on top of all of this, it also comes with the 3-way soil meter and those little tools to help you get your seeds started, as well as the plant tags. So it's been a little while, and I don't really know where I left off with this video or how I ended. I'm assuming that I ended planting the squash and the melons because that's all I planted so far. So I talked about what we were going to plant, I believe. If not, I'll put it up on screen. But right now, I'm down in the back. So this is our pepper bed. As you can see, we have some small peppers. Small pepper plants, little baby pepper plants. They are flowering though, which is nice. But there's a lot of space in this bed. And so my plan is not to put the squash where the stuff was that we planted a couple months ago, but to put it in this bed with the peppers. So I'll pretty much put it where there's open space, which there's plenty of open space in this bed. So we're going to plant all the different types of squashes. I already planted zucchini. So what we have left is we have the spaghetti squash, table queen, golden crookneck, butternut. I thought I had, did I say spaghetti? Oh, yes, I did. It's right there. And then also we have cantaloupe, which I'm just going to put down here with this stuff because I ran out of space up there for anything else. The sweet potato vines have literally taken over that garden. So hopefully we're going to get a lot of sweet potatoes, which would be great because they're really like a survival crop. So it would be awesome if we got so many sweet potatoes. So I'm going to plant the rest of this stuff in that bed. All right, right, so that was super, super easy. All I did was I planted 2 of every squash. So I did hills again. And then I also did like 2 hills of cantaloupe. So I'm just keeping it small, simple, just trying to get some more crops in. And if y'all haven't started a garden yet already, but you still want to, don't worry, it's not too late. You guys can still start a garden. Even if you're in a cooler zone, you guys can still get lots of crops. Now, a couple things I want to talk about, because I'm not in charge of everything. Jonathan here does a lot of planting for us, don't you?
Yeah.
So pretty much I grow the sweet potato slips, but he is growing all those sweet potatoes in there. They're the ones that have taken over.
Yep.
Now, a couple other things. We have Jonathan planted popcorn this month. More of it, that early pink variety. So there's a bunch there. You can see all the little sprouts. These are bigger because he planted them earlier. But there's a bunch of little sprouts over there. And then there's also a lot of little babies over here too. Lots of little babies. Now, what else have you planted this month, Jonathan?
I planted pumpkin, but that died, so I'm gonna plant more of that. I can only plant one kind, yo.
What Jonathan is saying is that he planted a small variety and a large variety, and that at this point we can only plant small varieties. I also just want to say that after harvesting those potatoes, you've probably seen if you've been watching, then we harvested a lot of potatoes. We had a lot of smaller ones, and so what we decided to do with those smaller ones is just go dump them in an area in our garden that was open and cover them. So pretty much we just dumped them out, spread them out evenly, space them apart accordingly, dump soil on top of them, and that was it. So this is more like just an experiment just to see if we can get anything out of them. And we're just going to try it, guys. It's just an experiment. So we'll see what happens. And so stay tuned to find out. Feel free to share below what zone you're in and what you're planting right now. You guys may be helping each other out here, but you never know who's going to join our video that's also in your zone and needs to know what to plant now. So make sure that you guys drop that down below. Also, if you have any thoughts or questions, feel free to drop those below too. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to see how all these crops turn out.